Good morning, Peterborough. My name is Jim Tubb, and it is time for your Sports Break, broadcasted through the facilities here at Trent Radio on 92.7 C Triple FM in Peterborough, Canada. This show can be streamed online at trentradio.ca, or it can be heard every Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. on Trent Radio, on the Trent Radio airwaves. Or you can follow what we're talking about on Twitter at SportsBreakTR. Tune in and enjoy the show. The weather outside today it's a little chilly. It's about -2 right now, but it's supposed to warm up as the day goes on. We're getting into the weather where come Halloween, you're going to wear a winter coat under your Halloween costume. You always had to leave that little extra room by the size up. You know, can't get cold while you're trick-or-treating. It's a couple weeks away, I think. What's today, the 15th? So that's the 31st. It's 16 days away. Quick math. Great start to the show. It's always a beautiful day to talk about sports, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know what else to tell you. It's the same thing every show. It's the same thing every day. It's a beautiful day to talk about sports. And we have a lot to talk about. From last show, the Leafs played 2 games. They played Tampa Bay on Thursday night. Yikes. And then they went to Detroit on Saturday and had a better game. They won 3-2. Of course, Toronto should beat a team like Detroit. Should they beat them by more than 3-2? Yeah, I would think so. But they got the 2 points, and that's all that kind of matters. And of course, from last show, the MLB playoffs are really kicking off. Of course, we're in the AL and the NLCS with the Washington Nationals won last night over the St. Louis Cardinals to take a 3-0 lead in the NLCS. ALCS is tied up 1-1. Correa hit an amazing bomb, walk-off, and he was a little excited about it. We're going to talk about that in a bit. But to start, as we always do in Sports Break, we talk about, it's called the Drink Your Milk segment, and that's essentially just all the injured players in the NHL, because it seems to happen a lot. And Arizona Coyotes, tell me if I've said this before, defenseman Nicholas Hjalmarsson is out for 3 months after he suffered a cracked fibula on Saturday when the loss to the Colorado Avalanche. He blocked a slap shot from Eric Johnson. Yikes. He was later seen leaving the arena in crutches. That sucks. I'll be honest, that would really suck. Hjalmarsson, of course, is one of the premier, he's a really good defensive specialist. He's never topped 26 points in a season, but he always blocks more than 100 shots during his career so far. Kind of a big loss for the Arizona Coyotes. It's going to mean a lot of guys have to step up if they want to continue having a chance. I don't even know where they are in their division, but if they want to succeed, they're last. Okay. Well, if they want to be able to succeed, they need him back, or they need people to step up right away to fill his shoes. Because it is, I don't know, when you get a guy that can block a lot of shots and stands in the way, blocks a lot of shots, and you miss him, well, a lot more shots are going to see the goalie, and you better hope you have a good goalie. Leafs legend, and San Jose Sharks legend too, Patrick Marleau. Now that you hear the name, me calling him a Leafs legend kind of sounds pretty crappy, but he is back in San Jose. It was always going to be San Jose. For Marleau, it was San Jose or bust, in my opinion. He signed a 1-year, $700,000 deal, which is the league min, in case you're wondering, to return Thursday, I think he played. Of course, if you remember, the Leafs traded Marleau to the Hurricanes in June, and he bought them out. Carolina bought him out, and then Marleau wanted to go back home. The Leafs didn't really want the 6.25 cap hit. Would he have stayed in Toronto if there was no cap, if the cap hit wasn't an issue? Maybe. Again, you'll never know. He immediately returned to the Sharks lineup, played in his season debut. He had 2 goals, and he still kept his Iron Man streak alive, which a lot of people were like, well, he missed part of the season. How does that count? Well, he wasn't on an NHL roster. He wasn't on an NHL contract. So, how could he play a game if he didn't have a contract? I think it's great. Marleau tried to get the, most games played. Get up there in games played. And in the Iron Man streak. Because we haven't had, a really long one. And, I don't know, it'd be kind of cool in this generation to be hey, Patrick Marleau, he has played the most NHL games. And he played the most NHL games straight. And I watched him play. It's just kind of, it'd be cool to say. I don't know, in my opinion. Phil Kessel hit 1,000 games this weekend too. It's stuff like that, like these guys with longevity in their careers and able to perform, of course, is cool to look at. With Patrick Marleau signing in the middle of the season, we see another guy in Brian Boyle who is going to maybe do the same. A lot of teams, or a couple of teams, according to Bob McKenzie, have been contacting the 34-year-old center. He split last year with the New Jersey Devils and the Nashville Predators. He had 18 goals, the second highest of his career. He had 6 assists, 205 hits, 151 faceoffs. He's not quick. It's as simple as that. But he is, he's a good defensive guy. He's got a bottom 6. He's not a top 6 role, and that's fine. But he's a good bottom 6 guy. And there's a lot of other veterans that are free agents that could sign this season for teams that need them after an injury. Excuse me, starting the day yawning. It is coming off the Thanksgiving weekend. Everyone's still got turkey in their system. It takes a bit to get back into the Tuesday, now Monday routine. But yeah, guys like Jason Pominville, Dion Phaneuf, Thomas Vanek, Adam McQuaid, Scott Darling's a goaltender, but like all these guys that can come in if a team had a big injury. Like if the Leafs lost, okay, well that's not a good. If the Leafs lost Freddie, I was going to say you could bring in Scott Darling, but Scott Darling's not going to start for you. And then I guess Michael Hutt. Well, yeah, these are guys that can come in and be a veteran in the lineup if a team so needs after an injury or something along the lines. Now, if you've watched the NHL for a couple years now, you know the big guy by the name of Zdeno Chara. Kind of scary looking. Well, he has passed the great one in a lot of things. And a huge record. That's right. He has more points than Wayne Gretzky. No, I'm kidding. The Zdeno Chara has played more games than the great one. The second and the best of all time, Wayne Gretzky. Sorry, I'm just stretching. So Zdeno Chara, he played for his 1,488th game of his career, breaking the tie he had with Gretzky for 23rd in the league's all-time playlist. Chara, of course, is in his 22nd season, 14 with the Bruins. Gretzky played 1,487 career games over 20 seasons. Phil Housley ranks 22nd with 1,495, while Gordie Howe is the NHL's all-time leader with 1,767 games. If you divide that by 82, you'll know the number. Am I going to do that? Well, we're going to move on to the next part. For the Philadelphia Flyers, they don't have a lot of success. They always do good. They always do all right. 4th in the division. Pretty good, eh? Doesn't make the playoffs, or they do, and they'll make the wild card and be out in the first round. Good for them. Good for Philly. Yeah. Good job, guys. It's been a while since their cup, but that's fine. They've in their stadium, of course, after they released Gritty last year that everyone loved and has kind of gotten old now, in my opinion. They now have a rage room inside their arena. You can go in with a baseball bat or a sledgehammer and break stuff if you're really mad about the Flyers, and they will be. There'll be a lot of that, which I'm surprised you don't see a lot of teams like the Toronto Blue Jays, who weren't going to perform this year, do that. But maybe if you already have a tire fire, why would you want something like that there to kind of promote that, like, hey, we're bad and we want you to like feel bad and like break stuff because we're a bad team and you are mad. Now in Philly, of course, they're going to put the other team's logos on the stuff that you're going to break because they think, well, we're okay. So if you break stuff of other teams, you'll think, hey, if I break this vase that's got Sidney Crosby's face on it, that means the Flyers are going to win tonight. And in Philly, that kind of stupid logic works because they don't know better. Good thing this doesn't reach Philadelphia. But yeah, good for Philly, I guess. I don't know. Always something to attract fans. It's a thing in Toronto that they don't do, and that's appeal to the fans in the arena and not those that are just paying corporate sponsorships or for the boxes. But you should have like great in-arena entertainment, and it should be for all ages. If that kind of, like, I don't want to say not for all ages, but just you got to make people, because the play doesn't happen every second during the pause, during any intermission, or pauses. You need to have a better in-arena entertainment, and maybe this is a good idea for the Flyers. Not everything has to be on the ice for entertainment, but it should be, or towards the ice, whether it's up on the Jumbotron or like a contest. I don't know. The Flyers are taking a different way to doing it, and that's just good for them. Hopefully it works. We'll see whether the Leafs will do anything like that. I think it's too unconventional for the Leafs to even think about doing something like that, but good for Philly. It's the one thing they got going for them right now. Over the weekend, of course, the Maple Leafs, like I said, they beat Detroit. It was 5-2. I was totally wrong. I don't even know why I said 3-2. Good one. Real professional here on SportsBreak. Yesterday, of course, they sent down rookie defenseman Rasmus Sandin, and they called up Kevin Gravel. Apparently, they wanted grit to the lineup. The amount of jokes about Kevin Gravel and adding grittiness and being a rock on the back end and this and that. It's been a lot on Twitter. But Sandin, of course, impressed in the preseason. He had a great couple first games of the season. I thought he was on the third defensive pair. He had 2 assists through his first 6 games, and he had just about 12 minutes per night. Not bad for a rookie defenseman. The first year of his rookie contract only kicks in once he hits the 10-game mark. So maybe they saw what he can do. They're going to send him down. They said that it sent him down because he's not getting enough playing time here. They want him to be able to play full-time in the AHL, get to 25, 30 minutes a night, and develop. Because here he's not playing power play, he's not playing penalty kill, he's just playing third-line minutes, third defensive pair minutes. And it's okay for development, but the Leafs have decided that they're going to go on the side of Rasmus Sandin and send him down. Which is interesting because they're if it was for the best of the team, you would think he would be up on the team right now, the best for this season. But they're deciding to go with the best for Rasmus Sandin and send him down. And maybe they'll call him back up. The kind of consensus online is that he's going to get called up around Christmas or around the trade deadline. Kind of like what the Leafs did with Travis Dermott not last season, 2 years ago. And just give him a taste of the NHL so he knows kind of barely what it is. Play in the AHL, develop, have a great season, and then get called back up for the playoffs and the post-trade deadline in the playoffs. And trade deadline, that's a while away, but it's interesting to think already what the Leafs could do. I don't even know what they would need to add or where they could add or what kind of money they could use to add. And it is kind of sad with the Leafs that the first thing we go to talk about is the cap hit. But that's where we are when we have all these good players. But in the end, Rasmus Sandin gets sent down. He's going to play with Timothy Liljegren on the first line for the Toronto Marlies and Sheldon Keefe, who has had him before as a coach and can mold him to be the better defenseman than he already is, which is good for the Leafs in the end, if it works. Or maybe... yeah, I don't know what else to say. It's either going to work or it's not, like most things. But I don't think it's a bad idea. He looked good in the NHL, but, send him down and give him some more time to develop down there and get ready for playing full-time, and then he can be ready to play full minutes. Because right now in the top 4, they don't have anyone that they can really move out for him to get in there. Riley's not moving, Muzzin's not moving, Barry's not moving. CC maybe, put CC on the third line then, third defensive pair. But Sandin on Riley. With Riley, I don't know how that works. And Babcock likes the lefty-righty. And I believe both Riley and Sandin are lefties. It's a huge thing with Babcock that you need left-right. 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 I don't know why I'm yawning so much this morning. I had great sleep last night. I'm sorry. This is not great radio. But in the end, this is what the Leafs have done, and I guess we'll see how it goes tonight. Maple Leafs play the Minnesota Wild in Toronto, Scotiabank Arena, 7 o'clock. Be there, or probably catch it up on Sportsnet.ca or 417 on your cable box, or go to the game. The games are fun if you can get cheap tickets. Can't speak well either this morning. I'd say it's a tough morning so far, but we're doing all right here. We get to talk about sports coming off the Thanksgiving weekend. No class today till 5 o'clock. What more can you ask for? I guess to be in the seats for the Leafs game tonight. That would be about it, yeah. Last Thursday night, of course, the Leafs played Tampa Bay Lightning. It was not a great game. It was more tough than this start to the show is for me right now. They, of course, lost 7-3, and they never really looked in it. It was kind of not a great to watch. It was a quick, oh, that's the Leafs game's going? We're going to playoff baseball. It was as quick as that. Leaf game sometimes takes priority, not Thursday night. And I don't even know who to blame that loss on. Anderson wasn't great, but he wasn't terrible. Which, for your starting goaltender, you shouldn't. That's not great to say. Yeah, Freddie, he wasn't terrible, but he wasn't good. It's like, oh, so he wasn't a great starting goaltender. No. So they're going to lose every game he does that. Oh, yeah, I guess. He gave up 7 goals. He'd want 3. 3 of them looked weak. And, at a certain point, you go, okay, this loss is entirely on Freddie. And I'm sure Freddie would be like, this wasn't on me. He saw, he got there was a lot of tips and one-timers. The Lightning just had too much, time and space to work with. But, you can't give up soft goals. Kevin Shattenkirk went end-to-end and scored on a backhand. And that's on, I would argue, both Freddie and Morgan Riley, who, it's another reason they lost. The defense was just terrible. And you give up penalties to a team like Tampa, who has a great power play, just like the Leafs do. And then you try to defend that. And if you can't defend that well, it's just failure after failure. And that's how you lose 7-3. The only forward that's really making a difference right now is Matthews. He's the only one that's really been going. He's had 1 point. He had a pointless streak, games without points. It was 1 game. He has 6 goals in 6 games so far. He got his first assist. In this game, he got his first assist and his 6th goal. 7 points through 5 games. Good. Well, 6 now, but they were just outplayed. I don't know how else to say it. I'm just trying to make up more excuses for them. They were just outplayed by a better Tampa team. And even John Cooper, Tampa's head coach, said, well, we're here to play. And it was as simple as that. So I don't know when the Leafs play Tampa next, but you can't do that again to that team. Or any team that's like Tampa or close to Tampa. You have to perform. You're the freaking Toronto Maple Leafs. And a 7-3 loss to teams that are going to be in the playoffs are not a good sign. It is only less than 10 games in the season. But it's the perfect time to get back into it and realize, you can't do that anymore. So I don't know if that helped Saturday when they played Detroit and they won 5-2. But it didn't. Because the Stars, the top 6 has been quiet this year. Other than Matthews, the top 6 hasn't really done anything. That's why Ilya Mikheyev, however you pronounce his name, has had a great season and has been known citywide and countrywide. No, province-wide maybe. He scored in the final minute of the second period. Helped the Leafs win. It's just, they're relying a lot on the bottom 6 here to score. And that's what it took in this game, was for the bottom 6 to score. The top 6 was gone. Kerfoot is the third-line center. Mikheyev, third line. Trevor Moore, fourth line. Jake Muzzin, defenseman. Those were the goal scorers for the Leafs. And that's kind of spooky. That you can't get anything from your top 6 against a team like Detroit. Nothing against Detroit. They're just not a good hockey team. Which I mean is something against Detroit. But they know that. They knew coming into the season they weren't going to be good. Jimmy Howard is still the goaltender in Detroit after everything. You have to be better if you're the Leafs. You won. Good for you. You got the 2 points. Great. If you're going to be a good team, as they are and plan to be, that is expected of you, is to get the 2 points from a team like Detroit and move on. When you play against Tampa, it's not expected to get to 2 points, because they're a really good hockey team too. But it's expected to put up a fight. And it's as simple as that. The Leafs have not put up a fight so far this season. 5 games into it. They've looked good in some games, but when they look bad, they look really bad. Which sounds silly, but it makes sense to me. So if it doesn't make sense to you, I can't tell you. I can't help you there. But they look okay, but they look really bad when they're bad. So I don't know how they're going to fix that, but they have to address that and fix that very soon. Before this comes back later in the season and bites them in the butt, whether they don't get enough points in the season by not playing well right away or what. But they can't do that. They got a test tonight with Minnesota, another crappy team that they have to beat. And then Saturday night, hockey night in Canada, they've got the Boston Bruins at home in Toronto. Nobody wants to play Boston again in the playoffs. This is the time. Boston's the head of the division by a fair amount of points for beginning of the season. Buck up and win, and show the Bruins and show your fans that we're here to go. You brought in these players this offseason, traded away others to make room, sign these guys to these big contracts. Now it's time to make these contracts worth it. I'm sure this is heard all on the radio, but I'm getting kind of sick and tired of this. I don't know what I'm getting fired up about. I'm fired up. It's Tuesday morning, but you can't lose 7-2, 7-3, whatever it was. You can't give up 7 to the Tampa Bay Lightning. I understand how easy it is, but you should not let it happen. You bring in a good defenseman in Tyson Barrie, albeit not very good defensively. We knew that. They knew that. Not we. I'm not a Toronto Maple Leaf. They just got to be better. It's as simple as that. I'm just rambling now. They just have to be better against the good teams, and they have to be dominant against the not as great teams. It's as simple as that. And once they start doing that, I think everything will be all right, and I won't be this chippy on air at 9:25 on a Tuesday morning, and everything will be great. So we're going to calm down here. The Leafs are going to be fine. Everything will be good again. The NHL this season has been a little wonky to start, I'll be honest. Buffalo is the top of the Atlantic Division. I thought it was Boston. That's on me. Right now, if the playoffs started, it would be Buffalo, Boston, Toronto. Where's Tampa? Who knows? They're actually second in front of Ottawa. And then the Metros, Carolina, Pittsburgh, Washington. The Central in the Western Conference is Colorado, Winnipeg, St. Louis. Interesting to see Winnipeg, even with their defensive struggles and not having a defenseman on their roster, still second in the division. Good for Winnipeg. We'll see if that can stand the rest of the year or not. Teams like Nashville, Dallas. I don't know how Dallas has started as slow as they have. And then the Pacific, the East are first in their division, or the Edmonton Oilers are first in their division. That was a tough. And then Vegas, and then Anaheim, Calgary. Then the Sharks are starting off. Sharks have had a lot of injuries, but wonky start. Buffalo and Edmonton are top of their divisions. We're going to see if this can continue on. It is only 6 games into the season. Remember that everything during your hot takes and when you get fired up about the Leafs or any team. We're 6 games into the season. We got one tonight. We got another one on Saturday. Enjoy. I hope hopefully the Leafs perform and make it a good night. We're going to go to a quick break here, and we'll be right back with your sports. We are back here, ladies and gentlemen, for your Sports Break, broadcasted on 92.7 C Triple FM through the facilities here at Trent Radio in the beautiful Peterborough, Canada. The weather is still 3 degrees here in Peterborough. It's warming up. It's going to be 12 by noon. It's going to be a good day. I think great day for sports, as always. And it's a big night tonight in the MLB, at least. Like I said, the Leafs play tonight in Toronto against Minnesota. I got Washington on the brain, as I should, because they won 8-1 last night over St. Louis. They played tonight. Right, today's 15th? Yep, today's 15th. At 8:05 p.m. for a chance to make it to the World Series. Whoa. Big deal. Houston and New York also played tonight at 4:08. This afternoon, actually, at 4:08. Before we get into the AL and the NLCS, we got to look back at the ALDS and the NLDS. We didn't even get to see that or talk about that on air. We saw it with our eyes. And both, or all 3 games, were had something to talk about and were out there. The Astro and the Rays series, of course, went to Game 5. The Rays came back. They were down 2-0 in the series. And you thought, hey, this is going to be a really close game. This is amazing. We got Garrett Cole versus Tyler Glasnow. And it was just simply Houston was too powerful for Tampa. Of course, they won 6-1. Garrett Cole was amazing. He had 10 Ks through, I believe it was 8 innings. Sorry, he went 8 innings. had 10 strikeouts, gave up a solo home run to former Blue Jay Eric Sogard in the second inning, the very first pitch of the second inning. Great for him to finish with his side, like great for them to move off him. But the real story of the game it was Garrett Cole. That was a huge story, but the story was Tyler Glasnow and tipping pitches. And it kind of started early in the game. Like, Astros had 4 straight hits off Glasnow, and it seemed like they knew what was like coming. And all Astros hitters were like talking to each other, had the hand over their mouth, and you could just see it like something was going on, and they knew something. After looking at the video, you can see it was pretty obvious he was tipping his fastball. And I say pretty obvious because once they point it out, it makes sense that it's obvious. But like, if you can think about it, the Blue Jays jersey or the Tampa Bay jersey, for example, the words across it, Glasnow would hold his glove up to it. This is great radio, trying to describe an image. But he would hold his glove up before the pitch, before when he was set. And if he held it up high and it was level with the words on the Rays, on the jersey, he was going to throw a fastball. If his glove was lower than that, if it wasn't equal with the words at the top of the jersey, he was going to throw a curveball. Which, for any MLB hitter, if you know what's coming, the pitch, you might not know the location, but you know what's coming, huge deal. Because it's a difference between a 99 mile an hour fastball, now mile per hour fastball, and a curveball. And there's a reason people, when you have a face of difficulty, people say, oh, he got a curveball there. Because it's deceiving. So you get the joke. But once the Astros figured that out, whether they're going to get a fastball or a curveball, you can adjust. And you can sell out for the fastball and do great, as the Astros were. Or if you're going to get this curveball, you know, okay, if it's any lower than my waist, it's hitting the dirt and it's a ball. If it starts kind of high and it doesn't look like it's going to break, well, then I can hit it. But once you already know curveball's coming, you know to look for, okay, where's it starting to break? Whereas if it's just a pitch and you see it start to break, it's like, all right, is that a fastball low? No. Okay, is that a slider? I don't know if he has a slider. Change up. And then by the time it's starting to break, you go, oh, that's a curveball. Oh, that might be a strike. And that's why a lot of guys look silly on a curveball. But once you know that curveball's coming, you've got him. And it's as simple as that. And for Glasnow, it sucks. And he admitted after the game, he's like, I was giving away my curveball. And I was giving away the pitches. And we've seen this before with Yu Darvish in the World Series. He was tipping his pitches to the Houston Astros. And there's been people accusing the Astros of stealing signs. Maybe they have. Whatever. Teams do it. The Blue Jays did it. To be able to have great hitters that can understand the game and know what to look for, and it's as simple as that of, oh, his glove's two inches down. He's throwing a different pitch. And to get used to that and tell everyone that and to perform on that. And to have the confidence to say, that's what this guy's doing. I know that. I saw that. Because if he's wrong, Bregman's wrong. I think Bregman was the first one that found it. He looked silly, but he had the confidence to be like, this is what he's doing. And it helped his team. Did it with Yu Darvish. Jose Bautista used to do it in Toronto. Josh Thole, the former catcher, told a reporter. It's just that extra IQ, baseball IQ, that helps your team win baseball games. And you want players like that. I don't know if the Blue Jays have any of those young players coming up. Kevin Biggio strikes me as that, Bo Bichette. But guys like Bregman, guys like that, that's how you win baseball games. You have a really good baseball team. I almost said hockey team. Really good baseball team. And then you can see the game like that. It's like Gretzky level stuff, where you see the game in a different way, and it helps you succeed. And it was huge for the Astros. It's one of the reasons the Astros won that game. It's as simple as that. Over in like I said, the other ALDS series was decided last show. Yankees swept the Minnesota Twins, so it was Houston Yankees. And then the NLDS with the Cardinals and the Braves. Cardinals got a 10-run first inning in Game 5, and it was over there. Like, there's not much to say there. Mike Fultonewicz just gave up 4 runs, and then the Cardinals just kept piling on. And for them, they maybe should have saved some runs because they're not performing well in the NLCS. But a 10-run, I think it was 11-1 was the final score of the NLDS. And that's huge for them. They moved on. Good for them. They got the NLCS. The Braves, I don't know what happened. I don't know how they fixed that or what. But, Come on, you can't give up 10 runs in the first inning. You have to be better than that. And it's just once you give up like 6, 8 runs, you're not coming back. It's extremely difficult. And you lose any kind of momentum or morale. It's as simple as that. After the game, though, their catcher, Brian McCann, announced he was retiring. He had a 15-year career, of course, 7-time All-Star, 6-time Silver Slugger, played for the Yankees, played for Houston, won the World Series with Houston. He signed a 1-year deal, of course, with the Braves this last offseason. 282 home runs in his career, finishes him 8th most among catchers in history. Right behind Pudge Rodriguez. Sorry, my Siri went off for some reason. Put him right behind Pudge Rodriguez. I don't know if he'll get into the Hall of Fame. Posada, of course, had 275 and was left off his first ballot. So to be seen, but a great career for Brian McCann. Of course, Atlanta Brave, born and raised, or drafted and raised, I should say, and then Yankees, Houston, and then back to Atlanta. Great career, terrible end to the NLDS for him. The other one was even worse, the NLDS. The LA Dodgers had a 3-1 lead, bottom of the 7th, in Washington, top of the 7th, sorry. Kershaw came in, 2 outs, face Adam Eaton, got him out, strikeout. Strikeout, got him out. He yells, gets off, sits on the bench. The 8th inning comes up, top of the 8th. Kershaw comes on. First, he faces Anthony Rendon. Throws a great slider, down low, below the knees. Rendon yanks it, out. 3-2, LA. Kershaw's like, okay, all right, calm down. We still got a one-run lead. People are starting to be like, uh-oh, Kershaw. Why is Kershaw here? Dodgers get Kenta Maeda warming up. Juan Soto comes up. You're like, okay, Kershaw lefty on lefty. This is going to work perfect. Bomb. Hung a slider, left it middle of the plate. Soto pulls it like 430 feet. Gone. And you just see Kershaw on the mound. It's just, to watch that sucked. Your heart sinks. I don't know how he was feeling. But you saw it. He got pulled. They bring in Kenta Maeda. Kenta Maeda gets 3 outs. Ends the inning. But the entire time, Kershaw's on the bench. Just in a daze. Staring into I don't know what. Thinking I don't know what. And then the Washington Nationals. You bring in Joe Kelly. The Dodgers, shut down in the 9th. Goes to the 10th. Kelly's still in there. Nationals score 4 runs on a Howie Kendrick, former LA Dodger Howie Kendrick grand slam, and win the NLDS. All because Kershaw came in the game. And I'm not going to get into this of whether Kershaw should have been in that game or not. I think he should have been in the 7th. I say we're not going to get into this. He should have been in the 7th inning. He did great against Adam Eaton. Pull him in the 8th. Put Kenta Maeda in. That was his role. And let Kenta Maeda get him out. Anthony Rendon, righty, get him out. Juan Soto, Kenta Maeda can figure it out. Or you got a lefty in the pen. Dave Roberts. And now this is all on Kershaw. Everybody's going to blame. Everyone blames Kershaw for this. Did he throw the pitches? Yes. The one against Rendon was a great pitch. Rendon, a great hitter. And that's why they won. That's why they got that home run. The Juan Soto one, that was a bad pitch. And he hung that one. And I'm sure he would want that one back. But that's not how this works. And now, Kershaw's the bad guy. Do I think he should be the bad guy? No. It is sad to see Kershaw, not being able to perform in the playoffs. Because we don't really see this amazing player in the regular season. One of the best pitchers of all time, of this generation for sure. But he can't pitch in the playoffs. I just don't know. I don't know if I've seen this before. In hockey, I don't even... The Leafs, I guess. The Leafs, yeah. But, I don't know. It cost them the trip to the NLCS. Cost them the trip to the World Series again. For the Dodgers, this is going to be the longest offseason they've had in 5 years, I think. They've been in the NLCS in 5 straight years. And now with the NLCS we're getting low on time, I noticed. The NLCS of Washington and St. Louis. Washington's running away with it. Anibal Sanchez had a no-hitter going through 6 1/3. Scherzer had his no-hitter going through, I believe it was 6 innings. And lost it in the 7th. the Cardinals just don't belong there. And I know that had nothing to do with the Dodgers. The Cardinals got there because they beat the Braves 10-0. But the Dodgers should have been there, in my opinion. Should the Cardinals have been there? Definitely not. They just don't belong here. The offense is pathetic. Other than Jack Flaherty, they don't have a good starting pitcher. Like, if you look at the Houston Astros, they have Garrett Cole, Justin Verlander, and Zach Greinke. Like, that's their team. Like, that's how they get along. The Yankees have home runs. They hit home runs a lot, and they have a really good bullpen. The Nationals, much like the Astros, they have Scherzer, Strasburg, Patrick Corbin, Anibal Sanchez. But the Cardinals have nothing. They have a mediocre lineup. They have a good, like, Paul Goldschmidt is okay. He's not the Paul Goldschmidt of the past right now. I don't know what's going on. Marcell Ozuna's kind of performing. Matt Carpenter looks like a shell of the former Matt Carpenter. And the rotation, like, you've got Jack Flaherty, and the bullpen is pathetic. I don't know how this team made it that far. I don't know if it was a weak division. No Christian Yelich in the division. I don't know what it was. Cardinals should not be here. There's a very good chance right now that the Nationals clinch tonight. I don't even know who's throwing tonight, but there's a very good chance that they clinch tonight. And, like, it just goes by the wayside of, like, the three starters that they've had. Anibal Sanchez had a great start. Scherzer had an amazing start. And then Strasburg last night, he had 10 Ks. He's the third player all time with 10 Ks in his first 7 postseason starts. He joins Cliff Lee and Bob Gibson. Now that's huge, very huge group to be with, and only looks better for Strasburg. Makes Strasburg look really good. We don't have it's going to be Dakota Hudson from the Cardinals and Patrick Corbin. Like, Patrick Corbin's going to shut down the Cardinals lineup, or he usually should. And then, like, the Cardinals, it's just like, so why were you there? And, yeah, I don't know. Good for the Nationals. It'd be awesome to see the Nationals get to the World Series. And, like, then who they're going to play, I don't know. That's the ALCS. But the Cardinals should not be there. It's as simple as that, in my opinion. In the ALCS to decide that. Game 1, of course, went to the Yankees. Tanaka looked great. He's another guy, and I say this a lot on this show. When he's good, he's really good. But when he's bad, it's bad. Like, it's Tanaka, when he's on, he's going to throw 10 strikeouts and be the best pitcher on the staff. But when he's bad, he's going to give up 4 home runs. It's as simple as that. I've said that before. And the Yankees, they stunned Houston in that first game. Gleyber Torres had a homer, 5 RBIs. Like, it was just a great game for them. Torres, of course, was the Yankees MVP easily this season, and was the reason they won this game, I would say. Giancarlo Stanton hit a home run. Gio Urshela hit a home run. And Aaron Judge caught a line drive and got Alex Bregman out at first base. It was still 1-0. Like, they just looked good today. The Yankees looked ready to play. Not that the Astros didn't, but just I think the Yankees got out early. And I think it was as simple as they only had to play 3 games in the division series, and they weren't really tested. Whereas the Astros played 5 against Tampa, and those were 5 hard-fought games. And I think it caught up to the Astros really quick. Do I think they bounced back from that really quick? Well, yeah, they won Game 2. And Game 2 was boring. It was kind of boring. There was a hit in the 6th inning, and there wasn't a hit again until, like, the 9th or the 10th. I think, or it was the 5th. It was like a 2-hour span between hits. They said that on the broadcast. I think that's what I heard. But, like, it was a slow game. And then it's the 11th inning, bottom of the 11th, and all of a sudden the screen turns on, and there's a ball in the stands, and Carlos Correa is running around the bases. And, like, at first I was like, oh, okay, this is a replay, and it's like, oh no, he just hit a walk-off. And it's like, well, maybe Sportsnet could have turned that on a little quicker. Like, we were trying to watch the game, not the commercials. And then you just see Carlos Correa running around the bases, and it's like, oh, okay. And then you remember J.A. Happ is pitching for the Yankees, and you're like, man, J.A. Happ got the loss. As a Blue Jays fan, you're like, man, you always want the best for J Happ. It's not J, it's J Happ. My bad. But yeah, like, it was a great win for the Astros. Verlander, if you can barely remember, started that game. It seemed like it was like, I forgot Verlander started. He had a decent start, but like didn't look 100% Verlander. But yeah, Correa, like a great home run. He's a guy in the past, like he's got injury problems, had a hard time performing in the playoffs. That's why I think he bats seventh. Yeah, he bats seventh. Like, that's a deep lineup, and it shows in this. And of course, like I said, they play today at 4:00. It's Garrett Cole against, I believe, Luis Severino. I don't know if he's going to have an inning limit on him or not, but like, it's going to be a great matchup, Garrett Cole and Luis Severino. A lot of fastballs. It's going to be a very hard-throwing day, that's for sure. But last game, the big story going into it was Giancarlo Stanton missed the game with a strained right quad. Played in the opener, homered in the opener, and he looked good, but he just said that something was off heading into that game. And if you're the Yankees, like, this guy, man, like Stanton, what are you doing? You got to start performing for the Yankees and playing. They're thinking he's going to play in Game 3. That's the plan. He'll probably DH. I don't know how you can field him. But, like, if the Yankees make the World Series, I don't know how or where he's going to play. You're going to stick him in left field and hope he doesn't break something? Like, or I don't know, like, he can't make defensive plays, not with his leg, or he can't even bat and run. So I don't know, like, if he's just going to be a pinch hitter, well, then it's just going to be a it's a strikeout or a home run for him as a pinch hitter. It's as simple as that, as most pinch hitters are. But with Stanton especially, it's a home run or a strikeout. So, like, I don't know. There's no way the Yankees can be happy with what they've gotten out of Giancarlo Stanton so far in his career as a New York Yankee. But now the series goes back to New York. You got the short porch in right field. Yankee, like, it's going to be an interesting, because to perform in Houston with the Houston fans is huge for Houston. As it is, that's home field advantage. Makes sense. You go to New York, those are different kind of fans, though. They're ruthless and aggressive. And it'll be interesting to see what they do to the Houston players in the outfield and in general. Because it's just like, I don't want to call it, it was like the old dog pound in Cleveland when it was a thing and they were winning. But this is going to be a big test for the Astros, I think, because the Yankees fans want it more. They've suffered through the year of injuries and everything, and now they want it. And we're going to see how aggressive they can be. I think Yankees will win tonight and stun Houston and maybe win Game 4 and go up 3-1. And then with Game 5 in New York, because that's how that works, they'll win. But there is talks of rain on tomorrow. This is a thing. This is a huge thing here. It sounds silly, but there's talk of rain tomorrow, so it would push the game a day, which would give the starters an extra day rest. So it would set up. So today's Game 3. It would push Game 4. That it would be Zach Greinke, and then they would get Verlander, and then they would get Garrett Cole, and then Game 7 could be Greinke. It was a stretch where if there's a rain cancellation tomorrow and the Astros get an extra day, they get their 3 guys to cover the last 4 games. It makes more sense than how I'm explaining it, but whatever it was, if you're the Yankees, you don't want a rain delay. And because if you do, you're going to face the tough guys a lot. And it's as simple as that. So, Game 3 tonight, and we'll see how it goes from there. Aaron Judge has said they think they can come back and win it at home. After Sunday's game, he said it's time to regroup and get ready for Tuesday. I always like our chances of going home, especially for 3. It's time to roll. It's the postseason. We're going to get it done. And if you're the Yankees, you got to get it done at home, because to go back in Houston is a scary spot. Last thing on the ALCS, Justin Verlander moved into second with postseason strikeout all time with 184. He's behind John Smoltz, who has 199. Could be achieved for Verlander this playoffs if they make it to the World Series. Obviously, I don't think he can get 15. He could maybe get 15 strikeouts in the ALCS. But, yeah, like for Verlander, great career so far, and it's only going to get better. Second World Series ring would look pretty good on his hand, I would say. But, so it is. Great series all around. The ALCS is amazing. The NLCS is very lackluster, and we know that. But before we go here, there was a second retirement. Of course, Brian McCann, we talked about it, and LA Dodger David Freese announced his retirement after 11 MLB seasons. Of course, David Freese is most well known for his play in St. Louis, the comeback in I believe it was the 2011 World Series against the Texas Rangers. That's just what he's known for. He played for the Cardinals, the Padres, the Angels, the Pirates, and the Dodgers. But again, it's him known for the Cardinals. He played 1,184 games. If you remember, it's the "we'll see you tomorrow night." He hit a double out to right field. Nelson Cruz misplayed it, tied the game, and then in the 11th inning, I believe, he hit a home run, sent the Cardinals to Game 7 against Texas, and then won the World Series with the Cardinals. Great career. He's kind of known for being clutch. He ended his career with 113 home runs and 535 RBIs. He made the All-Star team in 2012. But again, it's his postseason that he's known for. Hall of Fame, we don't know. But yeah, great career for him. And the Phillies fired Gabe Kapler, manager Kapler. Of course, if you remember him in his first season, he went out to go put in a relief pitcher and never warmed one up. Across 2 seasons, he had a 161 and a 163 record, which just you can't do. Of course, he had a roster: Rhys Hoskins, Aaron Nola, Jake Arrieta, and then Bryce Harper last season. And they're the 8th team with the current managerial opening, with the Angels, Cubs, Giants, Mets, Royals, Padres, and Pirates. And they've already started looking. They're looking at Buck Showalter, Dusty Baker, John Gibbons is reported for that. Old Blue Jays manager John Gibbons has a good chance to get a manager spot. Lots to look forward to with the NLCS, ALCS, World Series, the offseason, all of these shenanigans, and all these people getting hired. Kind of a lackluster end of the show there. But that is all the time we have today for your Sports Break, broadcasted on 92.7 C Triple FM through the facilities here at Trent Radio. If you've missed previous shows, you can catch up on Twitter at SportsBreakTR. We'll be back next Tuesday's reading week. We'll be back the week after, 9 a.m., of course, where we'll talk about the NHL season, the MLB playoffs, probably in the World Series by then. That's how that would work. Lots to talk about. It'll be great. Enjoy. Have a good time. Be safe. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, to check your smoke and carbon monoxide alarms, and have a good day.